All right, true believers, elite legend, back in the house and very, very excited. I'm just getting over the thrill of a big hunt. Elite legend tracked down with the help of Nightwalker Curtis Martinez. I was able to track down this brand new Spider-Man Kraven 2-pack. I believe this is a Target exclusive. Yesterday I was talking to my buddy Curtis Martinez. He picked one up. I asked him if he can show me the DCPI, and he sent me that along with other disturbing images. Now, here we see Kraven in the package with Spider-Man. This is a Spider-Man similar to the one that was released in the 2-pack with Mary Jane. However, this one is packed in with different hands. Comes with a different unmasked head. Comes with some battle damage, and we have this beautiful, beautiful classic Kraven. Have some sick comic book art in the background of this package that we'll take a look at in a moment. But there you see Spider-Man and Kraven. Beautiful 2-pack. Could not wait to throw $43 in the direction of Target for this bad boy. Here's a shot at the side of the package, and this is ripped straight from the pages of the 1987 mini run of Kraven's Last Hunt. So here you see Spider-Man coming from beyond the grave. And if you take a look at the other side, you see some more fantastic artwork. Here you see Kraven, again from Kraven's Last Hunt. And now, in true Elite Legend form, we divert our attention to the backside. Here we see the back of the package. You see a cool battle sequence featuring Kraven and Spider-Man. Here you see the actual comic books that the cover was inspired by. Very cool that they did that. Would be cool to see re-releases issued, but I know that was a Toy Biz thing. But it's still cool to see Hasbro pay homage to the great comic books that these figures are inspired by. And here you see the back. It says, unwittingly bonded with an alien symbiote, Spider-Man has the enhanced strength and abilities he needs to take on his deadly enemy, Kraven the Hunter. Now, I've removed the card from inside of the packaging, and here you see some sequences from the comic books. Very cool that they did this. This was also done, I believe, in the 2-pack from Target, one of Target's last Target, I apologize, not Target, Toys R Us, the late great Toys R Us. This was done during the Toys R Us 2-pack where we saw the Phoenix and the Cyclops 2-pack. Amazing 2-pack. Glad I was able to track one of those down. But, however, here you see the artwork. Beautiful, beautiful artwork. Again, this is from the series Kraven's Last Hunt that started in October of one of the greatest years of all time, 1987. And here we see Kraven and black suit Spider-Man out of the packaging. And I'll point it out in just a second, but I do have a quality control issue. You might already see it. On the butterfly hinge of Spider-Man, they actually mis-sprayed the paint there, and it's driving Elite Legend crazy. But here you see Kraven in his cool capris with his Hamlet shoes. You see him with his cool belt. You see that wrist wrap that I could do without, but this is a very classic-looking Kraven. He doesn't have a modern hairstyle. Look at that look on his face. He looks like he's been hanging out with Tony Montana all night. Okay, I reload it. But here you see Black Suit Spider-Man, very similar to the previous Mary Jane Watson, but I'll show you the difference there. It's very easy to tell the difference when you look at it closely, and you have the two of them to compare. The wrist tape is accurate. However, he did have wrist tape in the comics, as you can see here behind Spider-Man, but they went a little heavy with it here on the actual figure. But I'm still very happy. I feel that this is a very classic depiction. Would have been cool to have him in the thong, but I'm probably the only person that thinks that he should have had the thong. But if you want to have him in the thong, there's a very easy fix-up. All you got to do is get yourself an extra Namar and pop the legs off, and switch them at the calves, and bam, you have thonged Kraven. Before we take a look at Articulation, we're going to take a look at the accessories that came with these bad boys. So here we see a spear. It's a spear! By God damn it! It's a spear! He broke him in half! But here we see a spear. Similar to the spear that came with Kraven, I think the other one was darker, the previous Rhino release. I don't have that. That's up in my collection room, and it belongs to the Ugandan headhunter Kamala. I'm not going to piss Kamala off by taking the spear away, so unfortunately, you're going to have to look up the way that spear looked online. He also comes with this pretty sick rifle for his big game hunting excursions. Sometimes Kraven and Papa John like to go out and shoot an elephant or two. I don't know, feeling cute might kill an endangered species. So here we see the head that came with this 2-pack. We see Peter Parker there. Everybody likes a little head. This one, he's been pretty much brutalized. Kraven doesn't care that Peter Parker has a family. God damn it. Well, I don't think he had a family yet in 1987, but you see Kraven did put a beating on Parker. And he comes with an extra set of hands. He comes with a fist for fisting. And he comes with a hand for thwipping. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at the articulation on these bad boys. Now, before the articulation, let's take a look at the figure from head to toe. There you see him on the side. There is the back. And the other side. Now, he has all the articulation you know and love in Marvel Legends. He has the butterfly hinge, which should be standard on all figures nowadays. Arms rotate. It's a little tricky when you're dealing with the butterfly hinge, but you can see they rotate. See how deep they get in there? They could do the X there. They could do the DX crotch chop. Suck it. They also have the double jointed elbow. Legs kick up very high. They don't kick back much, but not a lot of us have the ability to kick our legs back. It has a double jointed knee. He has articulation there at the thigh. No articulation at the boot, but he's not wearing boots. And take a look at that sick ankle pivot. He can spread his legs that far. And he has that wicked ab crunch. And the head goes back, comes forward. Very nice. So let's take a look at the quality control issue that Elite Legend has. You can see here on the left butterfly hinge, this is supposed to align with the top of the spider leg. So Elite Legend is going to probably paint some more white down there and paint this black. I'm not going to return it because I'm pretty sure I won't ever find another set. And now the moment of truth. This is what we have all been waiting for. And by we, me, myself, and I, the Elite Legend. This is Kraven, who made his debut in 1964 during the 15th issue of The Amazing Spider-Man. That's right, Kraven is a very classic character in Spider-Man's Rogue Gallery. This 2-pack is based off of the Kraven's Last Hunt run from October of 1987. The cool thing is that Kraven has been in the comics very recently. Actually, right now there is a Kraven hunt going on on the pages of The Amazing Spider-Man. I believe page issue 16, and right now we're on 19 of The Amazing Spider-Man. I've picked up the covers because I am a huge fan of Kraven, and those covers are pretty sick, and we'll look at them in just a moment. But here we see the front of Kraven. We see Kraven on the side. Unfortunately, he's not wearing a thong. Let's adjust the lighting there. And here we see the mane. And there we see the other side of Kraven. Now, Kraven has very cool articulation that is not really hindered by that mane at all. See, the head goes back, goes forward. His arms still rotate. He doesn't have a butterfly hinge, but that's forgivable. However, like I said, I believe at this stage of the game, all Marvel Legends should have that butterfly hinge. He does have a double jointed elbow. He has a very decent, good ab crunch and is not hindered at all by his mane. And he goes back just as a normal human would. His legs kick up pretty far. As you see his cool little capris and his hamlets. Kraven is ready for the summer. He has that cool belt. His legs doesn't do that much of a split, so he won't be challenging Van Damme in that department. He has a thigh cut. He has a boot cut. He has a sick double jointed knee. And he has that ankle pivot that we all love. Rest in peace, Glenn Webb. All right, so now let's take a look at some comparisons before we look at the comic book art. All right, and here we see the new Kraven 2-pack Spider-Man on the right and the Mary Jane Watson 2-pack Spider-Man on the left. Here you can clearly see that the spiders are painted differently, and you can clearly see the quality control issue if you look at the butterfly hinge. As you see here, this is supposed to align, that white on the inside of that joint, is supposed to align with the spider leg here. It doesn't. So what I'll do is, I'm not going to return it because I won't be able to find it in the wild again. So just going to paint the top of that black and add some more white paint down here. And that should be an easy fix. There shouldn't be any paint rub because there's more than enough clearance inside of those joints. But there you go. This Spider-Man is very cool. I do prefer this one to the previous one. I like the way that the spider is painted. However, both of them are pretty good versions. Some people say that Hasbro's trying to take your money by making the Spider-Man again. Some people complain about reusage. These are $20 figures. You got two of them in the pack, $43. You got a cool box. And if you had the previous Spider-Man, now you have these flipping hands. And if you have both, now you have flipping hands, you have fists, and you have wall crawling hands. So what more can you ask for? And this is paying homage to a very sick comic run, Kraven's Last Hunt. And it's even up to date in today's Spider-Man, where Kraven is again in the pages of The Amazing Spider-Man the way he should be. And here we see Kraven from the Rhino Build-A-Figure wave on the left, and we see the brand new 2-pack Kraven on the right. Really love the Rhino Build-A-Fig set. However, that Kraven is modern. I'm not a fan of modern looks. That's why this Kraven has not been displayed in my collection. I still display this bad boy right here from Toy Biz. But there you see 3 Kravens. Very cool. All right, so here we see my 2 favorite Kraven figures. Which one of them is going to make it into my classic Spider-Man display? On one hand, I am still deeply in love with the very first Kraven that we see here, the Toy Biz line Kraven. But we also have the brand new one that is more comic accurate. Elite Legend has a tough decision to make. You see this really cool base here. You see that cool rifle. This Kraven, if you look at the back, his machetes go right into that mane. You can't do that here. This Kraven's wearing capris, the brand new one. The other one is a little thin. I'm sorry, guys, but Elite Legend is going to go with the Hasbro. So it's the end of the road for you, Kraven. You put on a good fight. You had a great run, but it's now time for you to rest, my friend. Because the Hasbro Kraven is now reigning supreme. in my collection. And he's a savage. He's even taken that sick Kraven display base with that sick chest hair. So there we go. Kraven is now the king of the jungle. Now, to show you guys the comic accuracy of this outfit, we have the issue of Marvel's Team Up featuring Spider-Man and Tigra from March of 1977. This is issue number 67. And you see Tigra there on the cover, but you see Spider-Man there. But you also see, at Kraven's command, you see Kraven there, and he is in attire similar to what he's wearing here. The difference being the wrist wraps, which I said they kind of go overboard with this figure. I might do a custom job and actually just put a different set of hands there and make my own wrist wraps. You can see also at the boot, at his shoes, he doesn't have that little gold wrap there. I might add that as well to give myself a more comic accurate Kraven since he's going to be my new go-to Kraven. Now, a little treat for you guys here. We're taking a look at the Kraven's Last Hunt run. This was from 1987. I showed this off in one of my live streams before, but here you see this is the beginning of a 6-part saga. This is from the pages of The Web of Spider-Man. You have issue number 31 from October of 1987. And this played out over a series of different titles. So here you see, again, from October of 87, you see this is from the pages of The Amazing Spider-Man. So issue number 293 in October. And there you see Kraven in his very manly thong there. At the Spider-Man's grave, he's pumping his chest. He has Spider-Man's costume in his hand. And I don't want to give spoilers, but this is a comic book that's from 1987. So, and here you see Spider-Man Descent. This is from the pages of Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man. So Spider-Man, obviously hugely popular in 1987. So this is played out over The Web of Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man, and Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man. This is also from October of 1987. And if you go into November, the next issue of The Web of Spider-Man, and this is also depicted on the comic book art on this box. You see, here lies Spider-Man, and there you see Peter Parker resurrecting from the grave. And then from The Amazing Spider-Man, the thrilling finale, the conclusion of Kraven's Last Hunt from November, issue number 294. There you see Kraven, you see his rifle. It'd be cool if we had a strap for the rifle that we got from Hasbro. Here you see Kraven. Very cool. And Elite Legend stands corrected. That previous issue was not the thrilling conclusion. This is the thrilling conclusion on the Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man from November, issue number 132. So there you see Peter Parker with Vermin. We need a Vermin Marvel Legend. Here we see the very first issue of The Web of Spider-Man from 1984 with the black suit Spider-Man there. Very cool cover that I have here. And now we see The Amazing Spider-Man. This is an epic length 37-page issue where we see the return of the Hobgoblin. Hobgoblin doesn't get enough love today. I know he has a new Hasbro Marvel. Well, it's not new. It's a few years old now, but Hobgoblin doesn't get the love that he used to. Back in the 80s, Hobgoblin was really popular. This is from 1985. The 25th anniversary of Marvel. And here we see a very cool cover. This is from 86, and we see one of my favorite groups. We see the Sinister Syndicate. We see Speed Demon. We see the Rhino. We see the Hydro Man. We see the Beetle. and we see Boomerang. So Elite Legend, I've already tackled customs of Hydra Man. I've already tackled customs of this Boomerang. So if you keep your eyes peeled, if you hit that subscribe button, if you hit that notification bell, you're going to be taking a look at a classic Speed Demon very soon. This pack, this also has Jack-O-Lantern, the Sandman, and Silver Sable, who we just seen a Marvel Legend release just recently in the Kingpin wave. Now, here's a very cool cover. This is also another recent release. This is a True Believers 1 What If Kraven the Hunter had killed Spider-Man during Kraven's Last Hunt. So sorry you guys got some spoilers, but here is a what if. You see that $1 sign? If you guys are fans of comics, if you like older comics, go to your comic book stores. You're going to always be able to find what if runs. They're $1. You get classic retellings of stories. If you don't want to go out and track down readers on eBay or at comic book stores like Elite Legend does, you can always get some key issues for $1. A very good investment, well worth the money, $1. And now, keeping in the spirit of this comic book cover, let's take a look at something pretty cool. And here we see a what if scenario. What if Peter Parker would have actually died and Kraven had taken over the mantle of Spider-Man in the black suit? You can find out in the what if edition of Kraven. The what if Kraven the Hunter had killed Spider-Man. So very cool. Unfortunately, I don't have Mary Jane here to mourn Peter Parker because she's upstairs in my wrestling collection in a group of the Godfather's Hose at the time being. And here we see a more modern depiction of the black suit Spider-Man. This is also the Spider-Man that came with the Mary Jane Watson set. You can see that the spider is similar to that actual look there. And this is from a few years back. This is from the Secret Wars, the reboot of Secret Wars, and you see this is from The Amazing Spider-Man Renew Your Vows, issue number 3. And here are the two of the, I still got to get issue number 18 and 19. The Road to the Hunted. This is featuring Kraven the Hunter on the cover. As you can see, very modern looking Kraven the Hunter there. Sans the skull knee pads. And here you see a very cool issue number 17, part 1 of The Hunted. And you see Kraven there with all of his trophies. Very cool. So again, guys, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and be sure to follow Pop Mama. And remember, on May 19th, the Battle of the Ages, the Pokemon Pool Champion, Elite Legend, will defend his crown in a 6-pack challenge against the mighty Hyrule Legend, Rochester the Gnome, that nerdy family, Overkill Hunts and Hauls, and the Tattooed Toy Hunter. A 6-pack challenge. Elite Legend is putting his title on the line. And oh my God, that son of a bitch Kane is back here. He's ruining everything. He's ruining Kraven's Last Hunt. He's ruining Peter Parker's funeral. That son of a bitch gotta be stopped. Can Kraven and Spider-Man team up to take out this evil nemesis? He's got no soul. He's got no compassion. And unlike the Elite Legend, he's got no Pokemon championship.